So Manny Diaz once again proves he is undoubtedly the undisputed heavyweight champ of the transfer portal. He just made last night I think the most important acquisition in these last 2 years of him using the transfer portal, besides maybe De'Aaron King. So last night, if you haven't already heard, I'm sure most of you have by now, uh, Tyrique Stevenson from the University of Georgia, former five-star recruit, top 34, 35 player in the nation, depending on what site you're looking at, uh, entered the transfer portal about 3 days ago, and last night announced that he is committing to the University of Miami. So the former South Floridian, grew up in Homestead, went to Southridge High School, is coming home. He will be coming as a junior because he did play the last 2 years at Georgia, 2019 and 2020. And in all likelihood, I mean, I think this kid is that good. He's probably just going to come for 1 year and go straight to the pros because he is, in my opinion, at least a second round pick. He's a big kid, 6'1", listed at 202 pounds. I believe those were the numbers coming out of high school, 24/7 Sports. I don't know if they update their heights and weights once they're in college. But looking at film of this kid in Georgia, he's got to be at least 210, 215. Big physical corner, which we desperately need. Watching him kind of reminds me, he's drawn comparisons to Minka Fitzpatrick. I believe it was Andrew Ivins on 247 that compared him to Minka. The vibe I get from him is more like a Patrick Peterson vibe, maybe like an Antrel Roll reminds me a little bit of him. I mean, all first round picks. I'll take either one of those if he can develop into any semblance of those guys. That would be great. And Tyrique, he's one of those guys that, to use a baseball term, he is a five-tool player. A guy that can, if you don't know what that means he can hit for average, hit for power, he can run, he's got a throwing arm, he can field. He's that in the football sense for a cornerback. He can tackle really well. If you look up his high school film where he played a lot of safety, he lays the wood on people. And that's something that's been sorely lacking in the secondary since Jaquan Johnson left. So he can tackle. He can track the ball really well. I notice when the ball's in the air, he turns around and looks for the ball, which for me is big. It drives me nuts when players don't do that. He knows how to be physical at the line of scrimmage without drawing too many flags. He's just a bully, man. At the line of scrimmage, he beats you up. He'll hit you in the chest and the shoulder pads. He'll hit you in the mouth. He will beat your ass up the entire game. And he can also play off the ball. He can, give you that outside leverage. He can play a little slot corner and play the tight end. As I just mentioned, he can play safety if you need him to, but he's going to stick to corner in all likelihood. And just a versatile guy that, not just in my opinion, I'm sure in everybody's opinion, he's going to be a day one starter. I mean, he is CB1 at the second he steps on campus. The only question is, who is going to play on the other side of him? Who do you think it's going to be? So let me know in the comments. Could it be, many possibilities. Could it be either Blades or Ivy going into their senior year with the tutelage of T-Rob? Maybe one of them takes a big step forward in the offseason and they're ready to assume that role as a potential lockdown corner. And if that happens, I wouldn't hate that because then to Corey Couch, who I thought played very well this past season, maybe can move to the inside, to the slot corner, which is more his natural position. Or does Ja'Cory Couch just solidify himself as the next best guy after Tyrique, and maybe they play opposite each other? I wouldn't hate that either because everyone's saying Avante Williams might play slot corner, so we'll see. And also, don't be shocked if this happens. You still got Marcus Clark, you still got Isaiah Dunson. With T-Rob coming in, remember your biggest jump usually is from your freshman to your sophomore year. The little bits and pieces I saw of Dunson and Clark, I liked. And don't be surprised if one of those two guys emerges in the spring or in the summer, assuming we have a spring. Don't be surprised if one of those guys really takes the next step and just takes that job from the other guys. I think this acquisition is positive for many reasons. It's going to create a lot of competition. It's going to light a fire under some of the other guys' asses, which I think they need. And And again, Travaris Robinson coming in to coach these guys, to coach this group, not just the corners, but the safeties as well. I think the entire secondary will benefit from this, and it's more depth, it's experience, and yeah, I think for many reasons this is a great acquisition, and turns the cornerback room from a position of weakness that was in a position really of dire need of a guy that can take that role as a shutdown corner. Now all of a sudden you add him and add T-Rob and DVD as coaches. I think this is one of the stronger positions in the team. I mean, again, you can let me know in the comments if you think I'm crazy, but assuming Al Blades comes back healthy, this will be a pretty strong group of guys going into 2021 with all that experience. Yeah, I'm excited, man. And this will now be, I wrote them down, I think this will be like the 5th or 6th top 50 recruit that we've gotten in the last 2 years. It would be him, James Williams, Leonard Taylor, Avante Williams, Jake Garcia, and there's probably one more I'm forgetting. But yeah, the talent level of this team has definitely gone up. Not that we weren't recruiting well over the last 10 to 15 years. I thought if you can give Al Golden and Randy Shannon anything, they were pretty decent recruiters. I mean, they got some solid players over the years. They just couldn't develop them. We're always averaging like in the top 15 or so, occasional top 10 recruiting class. But man, in the last 2 years, not just recruiting straight out of high school, but if you add the transfer portal, which it has to be factored in because those are new players you're acquiring. I mean, these portal kids are making these classes go from top 10 to top 5 in my opinion. So these are huge acquisitions, obviously, and it raises the talent level of the team. And with the recent hires of Jess Simpson and T-Rob, I think certain things will improve. Obviously, I said in my last video, I wanted Blake Baker gone. I still want him gone. I think the entire fan base wants him gone. I don't see why he still has to be here. Maybe he can contribute some positive things to the linebacking position, just focusing on those guys. Who knows? I don't know how he is as a linebacker coach. We'll find out. But acquiring those two guys as coaches, I think will improve a couple things. Number one, tackling. If tackling in the secondary improves, I think the defense will be a lot better. It's not going to make it an elite top 5 defense. But the good thing is, the second year of Rhett Lashley now in 2021, we're going to have a pretty solid offense that's going to average into the 30s every game. If we're averaging 30 to 35 points a game, we're doing all right. And if we can keep the other team to under 25, 26 points per game, that's really all you need. You don't need to dominate on defense. Even though last time Jess Simpson was here in 2018, I believe we were 4th in total defense and we were number 1 in third down defense. It seems as though Manny Diaz might be trying to replicate that, now returning to that play caller role. Speaking of which, I wanted to mention this. Came up on the Miami Flow, on his Miami Flow channel. Go check him out. He dropped a video about this a couple days ago. Is Manny the same as Baker? I thought it was a great video, and I totally agree with what he said. Not to piggyback off him completely, I just want to touch on one thing. Most people, they're still jaded over the whole Al Golden, Mark D'Onofrio thing, and I don't blame them. That Mark D'Onofrio stayed here 5 years too long. He should have been fired after year 1. But Golden kept his buddy, and we all know how that turned out. It set the program back. I don't think this is quite the same thing. Yes, Baker's his buddy, and I think whatever plan A was for Manny, it didn't work out, so plan B was, okay, I'll keep Baker around, give him a smaller role, I'll call the plays, and it'll be a temporary solution for 2021, and then next year, go find our guy. I think that's what his plan is. In the long run, I don't think him calling plays on defense and running the program would work, but in the short run, I think it can work and give this defense a nice boost. He is a great play caller, yes. Blake was calling Manny's defense, the 4-3, 4-2-5, whatever scheme. It is the same scheme. The scheme is not the problem. The problem is being too passive and playing that soft zone 80% of the time. I'll give you an example of why I think the two are different. Manny, you saw it right away when he came in 2016. We started attacking, going after the quarterback, going downhill. Yes, we get beat every once in a while. Yes, we miss a tackle and the guy would take it to the house, but a lot of other times we get in the backfield, get a couple sacks, we force a fumble, force a turnover, and guess what? That turnover will change the game. That's the reward of being aggressive. So that seems to be Manny's philosophy. And in 2019, Blake Baker was running the defense the first few games. It wasn't working out. And I remember the week that Manny came out and said he's going to have more of a hand in, calling the defense and game planning and stuff like that. It was the Virginia game in 2019. We were going into that game, I want to say 2-2, 2-3, something like that. Friday night game against Virginia in the rain at Hard Rock Stadium against the number 18 ranked Virginia Cavaliers. At the time, Virginia was having one of their best seasons ever in program history. And we desperately needed that win to stay alive in the Coastal race. We went out and the defense played, in my opinion, lights out in that game against a very good Virginia offense at the time that was rolling and doing well against everybody. So, and I think it was a weird score. I think we won that game like 18-15, 17-15, something like that. But the defense played awesome. And you saw an immediate change. So all this stuff of, Manny calling it, Blake calling it's going to be the same BS. I don't think so. I think we will see a change. We will see more aggressiveness. T-Rob, who I think will have a lot of input, a lot like on offense. Yeah, Rhett Lashley's the guy in charge, but you got many cooks in the kitchen. You got him, you got Garen Justice, and you got Coach Likens. All have experience calling plays. So you have 3 offensive play calling minds on that side of the ball giving their input. I think it's going to be the same. Manny's trying to do the same thing on defense, in my opinion. So T-Rob, I think, will have some input, and he plays a very aggressive style with his corners. He likes to play them up at the line, a lot of bump and run. He, in his words, in a video that I saw on Twitter the other day, one of his, from, I don't know when the video was from, but he told the media, yeah, my style is 60 to 70% up on the line, bump and run. That's the South Florida style. So bringing that, improving the tackling, being more aggressive and blitzing in general, which I think we can all agree if the defense was more aggressive at the beginning of the game in the first quarter, Miami would have won this last bowl game. Their defense didn't start making stops until they started blitzing, and that wasn't until like halfway through the third quarter. So I think just being more aggressive and tackling better, this defense will improve a lot. Not make them elite, but they'll improve, which, again, with this current offense that we have, I think it'll be enough. Now, offensive side of the ball, that's a whole other video for another time. It's all going to come down to quarterback play and protecting that guy and all that stuff. But, I'm still, after mulling it over for almost a week now, after they made the staff changes, yes, it sucks that Blake Baker's still here. But overall, the staff improved, and I'm excited going into next year. More than all that, look at all the guys that are coming back. Nesta, John Ford. I know Zach McLeod just mentioned he's coming back, and some may not be too excited about that, but he's switching to D-end. He's going to have a whole offseason to train and practice that new position. So who knows? Maybe he contributes. Bubba Bolden, that was a huge one. Cam Harris, Will Mallory, Lou Headley, all these guys announcing they're coming back. I can't remember the last time this many guys that could have gone to the NFL and been like a mid to late round pick are deciding to stay for that one more year. Can't remember the last time that happened. Maybe 02 going into 03 when Vilma and DJ and Antrell Roll and all those guys decided to stay one more year. I can't think of another time after that. But I'm after mulling it over for an extra few days, I am excited about the positive changes they did make. Tyrique Stevenson once again. This is a great acquisition. This is huge. And also, of course, Charleston Rambo the other day. Nice little boost to the offense. We need a reliable receiver other than Mike Harley. and we don't know what to expect from the freshmen yet. So we'll see there. But anyway, please, if you feel so kind, hit the like button, share this video, send it to your other buddies that are football fans. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. It'll alert you whenever I drop a video, and it'll help me continue to grow the channel. We've got some pretty cool things coming that I'll announce soon. Not just for my channel, but for the Canes unit, which, if you don't know, that's me, Miami Flow, the Miami Flow channel, and the One Concrete Show on YouTube. We get together once a week and do a video and just chop it up and talk Canes football. So lots of cool changes coming to that and also my channel. So anyways, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. That's all for me. As always, it's all about the U. Go Canes.